guys, I'm Andre, a certified tour guide in Minsk, Belarus, and if need be, your concierge here on the ground, helping with real estate, visas and everything. Today we're going to the Stolbtsy area again. It's a 1-hour ride from here to have a look at the houses that might be worth 5 to 10,000 US dollars. We're talking US dollars because it's an old-time savings currency here in Belarus, right from the 90s when ruble lost its value very fast, sometimes overnight. So all the prices will be in US dollars. Of course, all the settlements, officially, not necessarily, in Belarus are in rubles at all times. Follow us, ask your questions under the video. I hope you'll enjoy the content. On top of everything, many of you asked how much investment is potentially required to put in one of these houses. Well, it depends on how bad the house is or how good the house is and what's your definition of comfort. When I first moved into my little house that I eventually knocked down and rebuilt, I had about 4,000 worth of improvements. That included, of course, the sewage system, the shower, the boiler, all the piping and the plumbing works, a bit of electricity reshuffling, and that was it for the first stage. You also may think of the new locks and again electricity, maybe remove the chimney and put something more modern for heating's sake. But generally, that would be the first phase. Hey guys, we're back to the village called Atalez. It's 15 kilometers away from Stolbtsy, the district center. And the property you're about to see is a little bit overpriced. The owners are asking for $9,000, sorry. There's a 2,500 square meter land lot. Always confusing these 2,500 square meter land lot, 25 units. They call them sotka. Sotka is 10 by 10, 100 square meters patch. So normally they have them as big as this in the village, 2,500 meters, 25 units. And let me show you the house. The porch isn't very promising. The foundation seems to have been fixed about 10 years ago, I guess. These cracks speak of some further investment. You can see better when you see the floor inside, the ceiling, and of course the roof. There are logs that go across the ceiling to support the roof. They're very important. This little bunker is called sklep. It's used to store potatoes and things for the winter season. And the next door house is abandoned, which we may use as the negotiation point, negotiation leverage to lower the price, because who wants to live next door to the abandoned house? On top of this, when the owners come, first question is, where is the land border? To establish it, you have to fix a geosurvey guy, who will charge you some $150. The stove is very old, has to go down. The house has been abandoned for 10 years, so there are bound to be issues with the ceiling, maybe floors. A very detailed examination is required to conclude. The village of Gumenaushchyna. We're seeing two houses here. Ironically enough, there's an abandoned house next door too, that big one. This one is for sale. You see the top has been covered with plastic. what would be the reason for that. And we are having a look inside in a second. So you'll probably need a new cooker. Back in the past, this was very refined lodge. Whatever happens, guys, I want to grab this wardrobe, probably the sewing machine as well. Oh, the sewing machine is gone. This is the Russian stove. It's the first thing you check for the condition. The house is generally a very sweet looking building, but one of the biggest shortcomings is the foundation. A bunch of boulders. You have to remove these planks to see what's down there. You'll probably have to replace the lowest logs because they're rotten by now. When you'll be doing that, you'll need a new foundation. So 9,000 is probably not an option. So this cute house does have some potential. If it doesn't go for 9 or 8 by May, we'll probably come back to haggle. Nature here is most impressive. The forest edge is just over there, and the whole village is basically sitting in the forest. This is a $15,000 option in the same village, and we'll see it inside in a few moments. The foundation is pretty good. The land lot has a bunch of subsidiary buildings. Speaking of sterling views, this is where the land lot stretches to, up to that oak or whatever that is, and the forest is just next door. This stove is amazing. Would have bought it just for the sake of, would have bought the house just for the sake of that stove. Guys, we are in the place next door called Druzhnaya. It's just a 5-minute ride from the previous one place, Gumenaushchyna. This one doesn't have shuttle buses to Minsk. That place was just a walk away from the stop. 5 or 6 rubles to get to Minsk, maybe 2 hours ride with a few stops on the way. And here we are looking at 2 houses. You'll see them now. The funny thing is, when we called the first owner, she told us that the other house, selling just 2 buildings away, has had fire. We'll definitely spot it ourselves, but this is an interesting fact that you know and that you pick up from someone else, someone local, when you are looking for a property, and something to negotiate a price with. But guys, in just a short walk we are finding this, and you don't want to have one of these as your neighbor. It's not a dead farm. You can see the trail is very much fresh, so it's minus 2,000 bucks offhand. This charmer here, Podgorne 18, chimney looks renovated, so we may find a new stove inside. This is the courtyard, the satellite dish, like they don't trust the state TV. Now the renovated windows are actually some disused windows from apartment that were just kicked out to serve here. But this is what I'm worried about more. You see the foundation, it's going off. The level is a bit unbalanced on my sticker here, but if you see the building, it's sitting down. The walls are covered with one of those plates, which are not the healthiest things to live next to. And this is the new fireplace we assumed as existing, so it warms up your evenings up there. The chimney is too close to the planks, so this is not exactly the safest thing, but it works. There's just one neighbor here. The sheds out here mark where the land is. The house, as it turns out, comes after a major renovation. Inside, it's one huge room with a working stove. The chimney is not perfect, but the roof has been redone. And it's a cool summer place that they charge $7,000 for, considering their prior investment. Now, with all the effort in this house, this land lot being just by the forest, you can only mine the farm, and $7,000 seems like a fair bid to just offset the folks' costs, so as not to make it a huge family budget hole or drain. That is kind of legitimate price, but I would say $5 whereabouts, just because of the collective farm and the bus issue. There's no shuttle bus coming into this village. As before, I thank you very much for watching the video, for your likes, dislikes, questions, for anything that you can call feedback. It's very essential for me to get some. Any questions on real estate, anything to do with immigration, message me directly. The contacts are under the video. There is a link for donations. $5 to $10 is just enough from you once in a while to keep it all going and not bother about tourism, which is a little bit dead here. And I'll be soon updating you about how COVID and politics and everything works here if you're planning to travel this season, like April or May. It's spring, everything is getting sweeter and sweeter. Stay safe, travel wisely, probably after the 25th of March. See you in Minsk and cheers.